This is the ultimate guide to editing gaming videos in DaVinci Resolve. Perfect for beginners. I've been making YouTube videos for like 15 years or something, and so we're infusing this video with years of editing wisdom. Let's get to it. Shloobity-bloop. If you want to follow along and work on the exact same footage I'm using, there is a link in the description where you can sign up for our Media Vault. Once you're in, there's going to be a little item on the list that says gaming video. That's going to give you a download with this footage. Unzip that download, and you should have 3 video files. Drag them into a new Resolve project, and if it asks to change the frame rate, well, you just go ahead and change it.
We fear change.
What we have here are 3 clips for a gaming video. One has the screen recording and the face cam kind of all together. One is just the camera, and one is just the screen. Depending on how you record your gaming videos, you may record your screen separately and your camera separately or them all together. There are good and bad things about each approach, but we're going to look at some details on how to do things both ways. The easiest thing is if you record with your camera overlaid on your gaming footage. If you have a scene set up in OBS, that kind of thing, then all you really have to do is just drag this into Resolve and start editing the content. If that's not the case, you might have to take your screen recording, drag that down into the timeline like this, and then take your camera, and let's just put that after it for now. We'll close our media pool, and now we have the job of taking this recording and lining it up in time with the camera recording. Now, if you were nice to yourself, you'll have some way to be able to record audio on both your camera as well as the screen capture. One way that you can do that is record your microphone audio with your screen capture program, and then you can use the audio from your camera to kind of help line them up. That's pretty much what we did here. We have our recording and we have 2 audio tracks. The first one is the dialogue track, so me talking, and the second track is the audio from the game itself. This is the best way to do it. You can set up your microphone and your system audio to record to different tracks in OBS, which I highly recommend doing. You could also possibly put your microphone into your camera and just record it that way, or you could have a separate recording of your audio. But either way, you're going to run into this problem of you need to line up your footage so that it all happens at the same time. Now, if you have recordings of your voice on both of these clips, you can do something really fancy inside of Resolve. We can grab the audio track here on the second clip and drag it down to the third audio track like this, and then push this over so that these are over each other. Select all of our clips, right click and say auto align clips, and it might come up and say synchronize using timecode. We can switch this to waveform, and what that's going to do is compare the audio in both of these tracks, and it's going to line them up in time automatically. So if we hit sync, it's going to analyze it. Might take a minute depending on how long your recording is. And then it's going to line those up. Now that's a little bit harder to see, so I'm just going to offset these a little more. Right click, auto align clips, sync, boom. It kind of moves those into sync. And now when we play this back, I fixed one broken bone. That would be nice. Braided cord. It's all synced up. Now I don't really want to hear the camera audio because it's not very good. So I can just hold down Alt and select this audio track by itself. That will disconnect it from the video. And then I can just hit backspace. There we go. So now I have my camera over my screen capture. I can select this track and hold Alt and hit down on the keyboard to move it down a track. And now everything should be synced up. I can select this and hit D to turn it off and on. And I can view either the camera or the footage. And these should be synced up in time. Let's play this back and see what it sounds like. Go to a nicer place, shall we? Let's go to a nicer place. And this is going to work out just fine. I can bandage. All right. So we have our audio synced up to my lips. Okay, great. Well, maybe we can eat something. Great. And we have these separate tracks. If I hold Alt, I can hit D to disable one or the other. So this is just the gaming audio. And there's a storm. This is just my dialogue. This is the ideal situation, is having those 2 different tracks. If you have them baked in, it's a little bit hard to mix them later. Now that we have these synced up, we can kind of trim this. So I'm just going to hit this plus button to zoom in here to the beginning. And right here at the beginning, I can just take this upper track and roll this back so that it lines up with the beginning of this second clip. And then I can select the empty space here and hit delete. That's going to make sure that we don't start with any black. We just start with the actual video. What's up? Today we are playing. Great. Now at this point, you can get in there and start working with your video and kind of cutting out parts you don't like. But something that's really cool about DaVinci Resolve that you may want to think about doing is generating proxies.
Hell yeah, proxy time.
Now, for this footage that we're giving out, you might not need to generate proxies for it because they should be very small and easy to play back. A proxy is a copy of your media that is much smaller and easier for Resolve to play back. So if you're recording at 1080p or 4K, especially if you're recording in like 60 frames a second, Resolve might have a hard time playing that back, especially if you have two tracks with your face cam and your game footage. It also depends on the kind of media that you're shooting, what camera you used, all of that stuff. And so what we can do is make these proxies, and Resolve will switch these out with smaller, low-res versions that are easy for it to play back so that editing is not miserable. And this is especially important if you don't have a computer that's really amazing. So how the heck do we make proxies? The first thing we got to do is go up to DaVinci Resolve and go to Preferences. And here under System, under Media Storage, make sure that you select Proxy Generation Location as Proxy Subfolders in Media File Locations. That's a mouthful. Basically, what this is going to do is it's going to make a folder next to whatever recorded media that you have that's called Proxy. And it's going to keep that next to the media, so you always know where it is. If you don't have it set as this, it's going to put it in this folder, which is often by default set to your C drive, which isn't the best place to put videos. So anyway, we'll save that. And then I'll also go down to this little cog right here. This will bring up our project settings. Under master settings, we're going to go down most of the way here. And this is where we set the type of video that we're going to generate with these proxies. First thing I'm going to do is set proxy media resolution, and you can usually safely set this to half or maybe even quarter. I'll set this to half. And for proxy media format, H.264 works pretty well and is pretty small in size. You might also think about ProRes 422 proxy. ProRes 422 proxy is a little bit easier to play back, although it's a bigger file. And so I think I'm going to go with ProRes 422 proxy at half. In fact, I'll even make this 1/8 so that we can really see the difference here. This looks good, and I'll hit save. And now we've just set our preferences for our proxies. Let's go up to our media pool, and then I'm just going to shift select all of this media and then right click and go down to proxy media, generate proxy media. When you do this, it's going to take a couple minutes and it's going to render a copy of your media that has the exact same timing. And then it's going to automatically switch it out in your timeline so that you can do your editing. And even though the video won't look that great when you're editing, before you render it out, it's going to switch it out with a nice looking video so that the end result will look beautiful and you won't have a terrible time editing it. I know it's tempting to skip this step. You may think my computer can handle it. Maybe it can, but I promise you, taking just a few minutes, letting it generate proxy media, go get some coffee, and come back, you're going to have such a better time editing. It's going to feel smooth and wonderful instead of horrible. There we go. And once this finishes up, then a couple things are going to happen. If I click here in the timeline, that'll switch to my timeline viewer. And up here, we have this little icon that says HQ. If I click on this, I get this little menu. And right here, this pink PXY icon, we're going to switch this to prefer proxies. And we're going to have awful looking video here. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to look this awful, but I picked a very, very low res so that we can easily tell whether this is proxy or not and to prove a point. This is a very, very low res copy with the exact same timing. The porches? But I don't need it to look super fancy in order to do my edit. That's actually scientifically true. Totally works. Let's actually look at the other one here. This one is maybe a little bit rougher. Just chill on the porch. But I can still kind of figure out what's going on. Maybe you don't want to pick 1/8, maybe pick 1/4 or half, because this is crazy. But you can still do it. But here's the deal. Now that you have proxies, you have the ability to scrub through this, and look how smooth this scrubs. This is what you should be able to do. If you can't do this, then you should make proxies because this is the kind of smooth editing experience that we really, really want here. That means that the system has enough resources to actually deal with this and is going to get out of your way so that you aren't spending time fighting it all the time when you're editing. And remember, at any point, if you want to switch this out, you can go up to here where it says proxy and then just switch back to HQ. And that looks nice. Don't worry. So I have a decent enough system that I can still do the scrubbing without the proxies, but don't be afraid to use proxies if you need to. So the first thing I like to do when I have this kind of stuff laid out is get a rough audio mix. I'm not talking about getting super detailed. I'm just making sure that I can hear the voice over the background and that there isn't something crazy happening. So let's just kind of jump into the middle of this. This should be super. This should be absolutely super for this. We're
gonna find something that...
So that game audio is just a little bit too loud. So I can hold Alt and select just this track. I can also go here to this chain link and I can just deselect that. So I can select these tracks individually. I can select this and then go up to my inspector here and I can change the volume. So I'm just going to bring that volume down maybe 10 dB or so.
Difference.
And now we hear it, but it's really easy to hear the voice over that. The other thing I'll do is maybe I'll open up my mixer here.
I think that's really all we need here. I think maybe we take a little sleep.
And I think we'll just push this volume up a little bit more. I want this audio to be loud enough. I want it to be kind of peaking around -10 or so here on my bus 1.
Let's just sleep for a couple hours. We'll just rest a little bit.
There we go.
Oh no! Oh no! Gas bomb.
And I'll just kind of spot check this. I'm just going to kind of listen to a few different parts.
Grab everything. I still have one broken. He's fine. He isn't going to come up. I love the atmosphere. The craft a camp. Ooh, I can craft a campfire, a stone knife.
Okay, great. So we're going to mix this a little bit more later, but this will help us understand the dialogue. So again, we don't have to work as hard while we're editing. I can close my mixer here. And one last thing I'm going to do is just rough in kind of the camera position here. We might change this later, but I'm going to select this camera track here and go over here to this button and just select that. That's going to bring up our transform controls. That will allow us to grab these handles here and resize our camera. And I'll just kind of put this down in the corner for now. This isn't going to be how it looks in the final. This is just so that we can see both the camera and the game. All right, so this is just kind of the rough layout. Then I'll turn this off like that. One thing you could also do is select this camera and go here where it says cropping. Click on that, and then I could crop the right, let's say, and I can just crop some of that extra stuff out of the way, something like that. I can even just crop this a little more. I'm not going to go too crazy there, but now I can see what's going on at any point. I can see both the game and my reaction to this. Again, if you recorded with the screen and the camera together, you don't really have to do any of that. So you can skip a couple steps there. But what's nice about this is that we can position this camera anywhere we want, and we can also use it full screen. So there's a little bit more freedom in post when you have it recorded separately. But now we're all set to kind of go through this and figure out what parts we like, what parts we want to cut out, and actually focus on the content. And to kind of speed things up, here's what I would recommend. First of all, close both of these tracks so that it doesn't have to generate thumbnails all the time. You can just close them down like this. And then what I like to do is just play through this at double speed. So you can hit L twice on the keyboard to play it at double speed. And then you can just quickly kind of figure out what's actually in the content. If it's your recording, you can kind of remember what you recorded. And if it's somebody else's, you can get familiar with what is actually in the recording. This will also help you quickly cut out anything that's boring. If it's boring at 2x speed, it's definitely boring at 1x speed. Boring. This is, of course, dependent on if you're doing something that is lightly edited or heavily edited and what kind of energy you want for your video. For my videos, I like them to be short and punchy and just the interesting parts. So I'm going to play through this at double speed and get familiar with the media as well as cut out anything that's boring.
It has an amazing soundtrack, amazing atmosphere. It's a survival game.
And so I'm not going through and fixing little things. I'm just going through and I'm going to cut out anything big. So if this is 9 minutes of footage, I'm going to do things like cut out a minute here or there. I mean, big stuff.
Okay, great. Let's see what we got.
And what I'll do is anytime I feel like something might just be a little bit boring, I'll just hit a marker and then I can kind of remember where that moment is.
A light jacket, cotton pants, and light boots. Let's travel. Let's do it.
Okay, maybe boring
it's
here.
Time for daylight. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we're in the first region.
Okay, might be boring there.
That was at the top.
Okay, so this part, I'm getting chased by the pig. That's pretty interesting, so we're definitely going to keep that.
Okay, can I use a bandage? Braided cord.
Okay, maybe a little boring
I
there.
have one broken bone. We can make a gas bomb. That's kind of fun. Okay.
This stuff
Can I
will
eat
turn
blueberries?
off.
That's
We'll
what I
get
really
rid
wanna
of.
Let's consume all these mulberries. Where did I get? Oh, because
Okay, so I think right here, we'll cut this. So I can select all of these tracks and hit Control / That's the slash above the return key. And I think I'm going to start cutting it right around here. Yeah.
Absolutely super.
Yeah, and I think we'll just take this part out. So I'll just hit delete and get rid of that marker. So now we're just cutting.
This should be absolutely super. Yep.
This doesn't really pay off at all, so we're going to probably cut that out.
We'll grab everything. Mulberries, dandelions. Let's just sleep for a couple hours.
Okay, so I think we'll cut that there, and then we'll cut this out.
Here. You know what? Oh, gosh.
Okay, we'll just cut to going to sleep right there. Making this shorter. The shorter you can make a video, the better, guys.
Let's just sleep for a couple hours. We'll just rest a little bit.
All right.
I'm doing so good. Just need a ton. I just need a whole bunch of stuff.
There we go. We're gonna get rid of this.
I just need a whole bunch of stuff. All I have to do is survive.
Let's cut that. I can trim this part of the clip by hitting Control-Shift-Left bracket, and that's going to make a cut here, get rid of this, and then move everything down. There we go. Does that all in one fell swoop.
Bunnies. If you like to see me be terrible.
And I'm going to cut this part out. That's just a repeat.
If you want to see me be terrible at more games, click right there.
Okay. And then we'll cut that there. So we've cut a couple of minutes out of this. Also look over here.
Let's do it. Okay. Oh, it's time for daylight. That's what it's time for.
Let's just start with daylight.
Oh, gosh, can I? Oh no! I forget how to do stuff. How do I? Okay. Oh, I hit X to kind of move. All right.
Okay, let's just kind of cut this out.
Oh no! I forget how to do stuff. Oh, I hit X to.
Okay. We're just making this shorter.
Something comes up here soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. Region 1 of 10. All right, we're in the first region. Oh, we gotta decide. That was a close call. Okay, here's some stuff.
Okay.
Right. Do we get anything? We got.
Nothing that interesting is happening here.
Oh gosh. It's way over here. Can we make it? We're gonna try it.
Let's just start with we're gonna try it like that. And get rid of this marker. Let's see what's over here.
I fixed one broken bone. That would be nice. Braided cord.
Nothing really happens with this stuff.
Maybe.
Let's just cut back to
See, now it's
the
just
river.
a nice rafting trip.
This footage is already cut down a little bit just because I didn't want to give you guys an hour of footage. And so there isn't quite as much to cut out as there normally would be because I already cut out a bunch of stuff, but you can still go through and cut out quite a bit. And so now we have this at 6 minutes and 30 seconds runtime. And that's probably pretty good for our little demo here. So we have the big things cut out. That's going to just get a rough length. And now you can kind of understand the basic content that's going to be there. And so this is what we would call like our first pass. Okay. What I like to do is edit in multiple passes, which basically what that means is you go through the entire video from beginning to end and you start really broad. You start with the big problems and then you start working on the medium problems and then the small problems, and you get more and more picky as you work through the video. The advantage to this is right now, I've only spent a few minutes on this video and I have something that's watchable. If I had to render this out right now, it's not offensive. I have my camera over my background. My audio is listenable and I have the most interesting content here. And so if I just had to hit render right now, no big deal, but we can go through and make it a little better. And so what I like to do is go through, and now I'm going to be a little bit more picky about if I repeat something or if there's something that's just a little less interesting. I'm going to be a lot more picky about what's going on here. And so let's just go through here and we're going to be a little more picky.
What's up? Today we are playing The Flame in the Flood. This is one of my favorite games. It has an amazing soundtrack, amazing atmosphere. It's a survival game. And boy, I'm not that great at survival games, but I love this game. Let's do it. Here we have something. It's a sapling. I can grab the sapling and this feather, some grabbing stuff. Why? I can go to my crafting stuff here. Oh, I can craft a campfire, a stone.
See, here's a repeat. So let's get rid of that.
Go to my crafting stuff.
Let's also get rid of this empty space here.
Do my crafting stuff here. Oh, I can craft a camp. Oh, I can craft a.
There we go. And I'm just grabbing this and Control-Shift-Right bracket. That's going to make a cut here and get rid of this part, just like that.
Stuff here. Oh, I can craft a campfire, a stone knife. Okay, great. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, more cattails.
Could probably cut to, ooh yeah, cattails.
Stone knife. Okay, great. Oh yeah, more cattails. There we go. Okay, we can search. There we go. Okay, we can search. Let's search for some stuff. Ooh, I'm gonna take it all. We got jar, we got water. We can examine this. Cleaned out this place long ago. Nothing left but dust. Dang. Oh Oh man, we got, okay, so we're wearing a light jacket, cotton pants, and light boots. Let's travel.
All right. I don't think we need to go over our inventory because it's not that interesting. So let's just start with let's travel.
Pants and light boots.
Just like that.
Dang, let's travel.
Yep,
Here's
totally
our-
works.
Oh, look at this.
I say here's our, I was going to say boat, but I forgot the word boat because I have problems.
Travel. Here's our,
We'll just start with this.
let's travel. Oh, look at this. We get to travel down the river. Let's go. Our dog is wearing glasses. Just wanted to point that out. All right. Oh, here comes the soundtrack. Amazing.
Okay, let's get this kind of dead
Point that
space
out.
here.
Oh, here comes the soundtrack. Amazing. Oh, look at this. I love the atmosphere. There's scary. Oh gosh, can I? Oh no! I forget how to do stuff. Oh, I hit X to
Then we have this little kind of breath here, so we're just going to trim that.
how to do stuff. Oh, I hit X to kind of move. All right. Daylight. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're doing pretty good. We're pretty warm, pretty dry. Temperature's good. Sanity's good. We just need to survive the river here. And so what we're doing is we're trying to find a place to stop where we can gather supplies and kind of keep on surviving, keep on trucking. And I'm hoping that something comes up here soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try it. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Let's go. Let's go. We got a fire. Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh gosh! Can we scare him away? Go on, get out of here! Go on! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! He's fine. He's gonna come up on the. Did you know that pigs afraid of war? Splint.
This part's all good, I think.
With the splint. I fixed one broken bone. That would be nice. Braided cord. Oh, can we? Oh, let's loot that. Okay. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, this is terrible. Oh no! Oh no! Campsite. Let's go. Okay. We're at the campsite. I think we're gonna survive here. All we gotta do is get some stuff to make. Oh, I'm hungry too. Okay, great. Well, maybe we can eat something. This shouldn't be a problem. There's a storm. This should be super. This should be absolutely super. Yep. I think we're doing great. It's so good. I have tiny cuts. Where did I get? Oh, because I walked through all the crap. Oh gosh. Let's just sleep for a couple hours. We'll just rest a little bit. All right. Things don't have to be that. Oh, look, we got bunnies. Just need a ton of materials. All I have to do is survive. This should be fine.
Okay, this part we can probably go
To do is survive.
just cut to the
Just
raft.
like barely able to do stuff. Just like survive. Just like barely able to do stuff. Oh God. Starving. I'm dying of starvation. Now I can't see. Oh God. This is not going well. I'm dead. Oh my gosh. Well, the flame and the flood. We've certainly...
So we have kind of the medium problems taken care of. I've gotten rid of kind of some of the extra little gaps and everything. And we've kept this middle where we're actually fighting the boar, which is really interesting. So we have the basic content kind of down. Now what I like to do is kind of punch certain moments and make them a little bit more impactful. And you could do that a bunch of different ways. One really easy way is just to make the camera full screen. So this is something that you don't have the opportunity to do if you're just recording through OBS and you already have your camera on your footage. But if you have a separate camera, this is one of the advantages, is we could take this camera and just reset our transform and our crop like this, just clicking these little reset buttons right here. And now,
What's up? Today we are playing...
let's just start with this.
What's up? Today we are playing The Flame and the Flood. This is one of my favorite games. It has an amazing soundtrack, amazing atmosphere. It's a survival game. And boy, I'm not that great at survival games, but I love this game. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's do it. And then we can go back to our picture in picture here. One thing I can do, if I want to copy this, I can hit Control C, then grab this clip right here and hit Alt V. And that is going to paste attributes. And by default, it's just going to select the attributes that I copied from this other clip and hit apply. And that's going to apply that crop and that transform to this clip here.
Let's do it. Here we have something.
It's kind of a weird cut there.
Let's do it. Here we have something. What's up? Today we are playing The Flame in the Flood. This is one of my favorite games. It has an...
Maybe we just want to do this full screen at the beginning. So again, I'll hit Alt V, apply that.
Favorite games. It has an amazing soundtrack, amazing atmosphere. It's a survival game. And boy, I'm not that great at survival games, but I love this game. Let's do it. Here we have something. It's a sapling.
Okay. Now, anytime that we have kind of a big reaction, I want to cut to my camera kind of full screen. So there's a few places that have a bigger reaction.
I love the atmosphere. There's scary. Oh gosh, can I? Oh, there's scary. Oh gosh, scary. Oh gosh, can I? Oh no!
See, we could cut this right here and again, reset our transform and our crop.
I forget how to do stuff. Oh, I hit X to kind of move. All right. Daylight. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're doing pretty good. Hoping that something...
Let's find other times to worry about.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh gosh. Can we scare him away? Go on, get out of here. Go on. Oh no!
There we go.
No! Oh no! Oh no!
There we go, and we'll reset that.
Go on, get out of here. Go on. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! He's fine. He isn't going to come up on the... Did you know that pigs are afraid of porches? That's actually scientifically true.
And then we can kind of just even turn off our audio and go through and just look for reactions. Anything where I'm holding my face or like screaming or anything like that. We could just kind of go through here and here when I die. Yep.
Well, the flame in the...
Okay, let's do it right there and then reset. Here we go. Easy way to just punch that in.
Well, the flame in the flood. We've certainly...
And then at the end, we'll also make that full screen.
Terrible. If you want to see me be terrible at more games... Terrible. If you want to see me be terrible at more games, click right there.
There we go. And so we're kind of bookending this and we're starting it with full screen and we're ending it with full screen. Okay. And you can go through and punch any moment that you want to. This is just a little example, so we're kind of just move on. I want to show you a couple fancy things that you can do here. One is if you do have your camera recorded separately, you have a lot of control over the crop and the position of the camera. You can even do some fancy stuff in the Fusion page of Resolve. So one thing that we could do, I'll just kind of show you a example here, is I could go into Fusion. I'm just going to be over this clip and click on Fusion. This is going to show you the full resolution clip. And what we could do is add a mask here just by selecting this media in one node. Even if you don't know a lot about nodes, all you have to do is this, select media in one and click on this circle. And that's going to give us a circle crop. And so we could make a little circle like this and then switch back to the edit page. And now we have a circle crop here. We'll just reset our cropping and we can just change this around. And now we have this kind of circle crop here, which is really neat. We can also go to our effects and search under Resolve effects here for drop. Now we have a drop shadow. So I could put this on like this, and that's going to add a little shadow to this. We'll just zoom in here so we can see what's going on. Let's take this blur off so we can see here, push this strength up, and we could change the angle and the distance and everything. Maybe blur it a little bit. And so we have a little bit of a drop shadow here. And so we can kind of change that around and stylize our little camera overlay. Isn't that cool? There's all kinds of stuff you can do with kind of picture-in-picture stuff with Fusion. I'm just going to get rid of this for now. Right-click and reset our Fusion composition. And again, we'll just copy one of these other clips and then Alt-V paste the attributes to put it back in there. Something else that you could do if you want to just add like a simple border, you could take all of this upper layer here, hold Alt and hit up on the keyboard so that we have a space in the track in between the footage and the camera. And we could do something like add a solid color. We're just going to put this in that track and zoom in here and just make this the length of our video. Kind of trim this to the end of our video like that. And then we could go to generator and change the color. So maybe we want this to be orange or something. Go to settings and crop this, and we can add a crop to this, but just crop it a little less than our camera, and we can make a little border. And so that's a quick way to make things a little bit fancier here. In fact, that's kind of what I'm doing here in my videos, pretty much the same idea. And what's nice is when we cut to the full shot, that shot is over that background also. So we don't have to worry about it. We just put that solid color there. And when this is cropped and moved into the corner, it works. So that's a quick way to kind of add a little border. Let's do a couple more things to kind of finish this off. One is DaVinci Resolve is really good at color grading, color correction. And so we can take this clip and we can enhance it in the color page. The way that we do that is just switch to the color page like this, and we'll see all of our clips here. There's all kinds of clips. And what we can actually do to make this a little bit easier is switch over to our edit again and just turn off these two video tracks, solid color and our gaming, switch back to color, and now we'll just see our camera. And here, I'm just going to select this first clip and let's do some work on it. Now, if you're not familiar with the color page, I have a bunch of videos on how the color page works, so make sure to check those out. They're on my channel. But real quickly, basically, you just click on a thumbnail here, and that's going to select the clip in your timeline. And then you adjust it with these tools down here. One tool that I like is the curves tool. And if you grab it here and bring it up and grab it here and bring it down, that'll add a little bit of contrast here. And if you click on this rainbow sparkles button, you can see before and after. So this is before and this is after. So it just adds a little bit of brightness there. That's kind of nice. The other thing I want to do is add a little bit of sharpening to my face because the focus is just a little bit soft. And so I'm going to go to this little teardrop next to the triangle, click on that, and I'm going to push this radius down right here. This is the blur and sharpen radius. And I'll push that down to, I don't know, 0.45 or so. And again, so here's before and here's after. So we're just kind of sharpening everything. And that just helps this look a little bit nicer. That's good. And you can do all kinds of other stuff to it in the color page. There's so much stuff you can do, but we'll just leave it like that, nice and subtle. And this is only going to affect the first clip in our sequence. So when I switch to these other clips, this isn't actually color graded. One way that I can tell is that there's this rainbow icon here, and there's not rainbows on these other numbers. So one way that I can copy this color grade to everything else is just click down here in the thumbnails and hit Control A. That's going to select all of these clips. And then I'm going to click down with my scroll wheel, the middle button on my mouse, on this number one like this. And then this is going to say replace existing active grades. You say replace, and then look what happens. Everything gets color graded. Now we have a little bit more contrast going on, a little bit more sharpening, and I'm going to sharpen this a little bit less on these actually. So let's take this up just a touch, maybe 0.47. And any of these clips that aren't zoomed in here, which ones are zoomed in? This one, 11. So we'll do that, replace that. Any of these, I'll just copy that grade from my zoomed out clip. There we go, just making that a little better. There we go. And so now we have everything colored. I can turn back on my solid color and my gaming video. And that looks so good. So it looks good. Let's have it sound good. Now to make this sound good, we can go into the Fairlight page. So the Fairlight page is all about audio. All right. So we have both of our tracks here, and I can make these a little bit bigger. This works a lot like the timeline does in the edit page. But here in the mixer, I can quickly add some effects and everything that will make this just sound a little bit better. One thing I want to do is double click on this green line right here where it says dynamics. Double click on that. And this will bring up our dynamics. And basically what this does is it helps the quieter things be louder and the louder things be quieter. So it kind of balances out your audio a little bit. And I'm just going to pick a preset because I don't want to mess with any of this stuff. And I'm just going to go to dialogue compression. And that's just going to make sure I don't get too loud or too quiet. And let's play this back and see what it sounds like.
It's fine. We'll just go to a nicer place, shall we? Let's go to a nicer place.
The one thing I will change is this makeup. I'm just going to push this up so that it gets a little bit louder.
I can bandage. Can I fix a broken bone with a bandage?
And again, I want this to be hitting like between 5 and 10 here. I want this to be loud enough for people to hear it on their terrible speakers. Something like that.
How do I get a splint?
Somewhere in there. That's good.
Oh, I can make a splint. I got saplings. I got rags.
Maybe take it down just a touch.
So can I?
Good. And I can also double click on this cyan line here for EQ. Double click on this, and this is going to change the EQ for this whole track. And again, I'm just going to pick something like dialogue male, sure.
Fix this broken bone.
That's going to make that just sound a little better.
With the splint.
And if you know anything about EQ, you can work on it here, but I'm just going to use that preset.
I fixed one broken bone. That would be nice.
And now we have a little bit nicer voice. Now, for this second track, this is the game audio.
Oh, here comes the soundtrack. Amazing.
We probably want this to be just a little bit louder, but we don't want it to overcome the voice. And so let's bring our song up a little bit here. I'm just going to select all of these and go to the inspector and set this volume. Let's set this back to 0. Okay. This might be too loud.
I love the atmosphere. There's a river here.
But when I'm talking, I want to kind of make it a little bit softer so that you can always hear what I'm saying. And so you can do this manually by going in and adjusting the volume every time I talk, but that's not great. And so what we can do is we can use an effect called the ducker. We have the track effects right here, and the very bottom one is called ducker. And you got to click on this little dot and then click on these little sliders, and that'll bring up the ducker controls. So here, let's select source. We're going to pick a track. We'll pick audio 1 for our source. And what this is going to do is listen to this track. And anytime that it's loud, it's basically just going to turn down track 2. Okay, so let's play this and see how it acts.
We just need to survive the river here. And so what we're doing is we're trying to find a place to stop where we can gather supplies and kind of keep on surviving, keep on trucking. And I'm hoping that
as I push this duck level up, it's going to turn it down more.
Comes up here soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try it. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. No problem.
Now, that's also going to kind of turn it up way too fast in between things. And so we can push this hold and this rise time up like this, and it won't be as intense.
And I'm hoping that something comes up here soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try it. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. No problem. Often has flint, always has a lit fire. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. I think I'll push this rise time up more, the hold up a little bit more. And I'm going to take this duck level down. And really what we need to do is only turn this down enough to where we can hear things clearly. And so let's do that. Let's find a louder part here.
We just need to survive the river here. And so what we're doing is we're trying to find a place to stop where we can gather supplies and kind of keep on surviving, keep on trucking. And I'm hoping that something comes up here soon. Oh my God.
Okay, and then when I'm not talking,
look at this. We get to travel down the river. Oh, look at this.
Let's take that recovery down a little bit. Maybe.
Oh, look at this.
Maybe take that hold back down.
Oh, look at this.
And so I'm actually going to take this duck level down and just bring this in a little bit so it's not so intense.
Oh, look at this. We get to travel down the river. Let's go. Our dog is wearing glasses. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay. That'll help a little bit. And then we're also going to take this EQ and I'm going to make a little dip here. I'm going to take this 4 and just push this down a little bit, kind of between 1 and 2K, because that's really where my voice is going to be.
Cleaned out this place long ago, nothing left but
and that's
dust.
just going to kind of get rid of the extra frequencies that would be competing with my voice.
Dang, let's travel. Oh, look at this.
And that's going to let us just have things overall a little bit louder and not compete with the voice.
And so what we're doing is we're trying to find a place to stop where we can gather supplies.
We can even probably push this audio up a little bit now that we have that EQ on. And so maybe we'll push up this volume. I don't know. Let's try 6 decibels. Let's see if that's crazy.
We're going to try it. And I'm hoping that something comes up here soon.
So you can still...
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try it.
You can still understand it even when it's pretty loud.
A river here. And so what we're doing is we're trying to find a place to stop where we can gather supplies and kind of keep on surviving, keep on trucking.
Now, there's a couple things here where we're making this cut. And so what we can do is crossfade this by right-clicking on this edit here and saying add 60 frame crossfade. Sure. And then we can make that bigger or smaller if we want to. And we can kind of have that fade a little bit from one clip to the next.
Keep on trucking. And I'm hoping that something comes up here soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to try it. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. No problem.
See? And now you don't even notice that audio edit. And so this is kind of nice having these separate audio tracks. And anytime that there's a big change in that music, it's nice to kind of do a little fade.
Braided cord. Oh, can we?
So we'll kind of do the same thing here.
That would be nice. Braided cord. Oh, can we?
This effect is a little bit crazy, so we're just going to roll this back here.
Braided cord. Oh, can we? Oh, let's loot that.
Nice.
Okay.
And so you can kind of go through and add those crossfades if there's any kind of transition that's a little bit too harsh. But once it's sounding good and looking good, then it's time to render it out. And so if you're going to render for YouTube, I would recommend going to the Deliver page. And this is what I do. If you have the paid version of Resolve, I'd recommend just selecting this H.265 master. If you have free Resolve, you could do H.264 master. Just click on that. And that's going to be pretty good settings for YouTube, honestly. There is a YouTube preset, but it tends to compress it too much. And so I like this H.265 master because it doesn't compress it too badly. It's going to keep your timeline resolution and frame rate. What you might consider doing is taking this resolution and up-resing this to UHD. So this timeline resolution, I'm going to switch this to Ultra HD. The reason for that is not because it actually makes it look better, it does any fancy upscaling or anything like that. It's because when it gets recompressed, it tricks YouTube into using a better compression because it's just a higher quality video if it's UHD. So even if it's 1080p, I'd recommend up-resing this to UHD because it's going to look better on YouTube. Okay. That's what I did with this video. That's why it looks nice and clear. Whereas if you don't do that, sometimes it can kind of mess with the fine details in your screen recordings. So H.265 master, call it something. We'll call this game video. Browse, pick a location. I'm just going to pick my desktop. You're going to pick something that is much better on a good hard drive or something like that. Then you hit add to render queue. It's going to say, are you sure you want to render this in UHD? Even though everything's 1080p, it's not actually going to be better. And you say, yes, I know what I'm doing. Then you hit add and that'll add it to the render queue, which means it isn't rendering yet. It's just ready to render. Then you hit render all and it will render your movie. Then you can upload this to YouTube and it will look and sound great. I've been making YouTube videos for a long time now. And this, I think, is the best workflow for really any kind of video, but especially a gaming video. Of course, this is just scratching the surface of what Resolve can do. There's so many things that you can do with compositing and visual effects and graphics and color grading and audio. I mean, it's just insane. But if you want to get this footage and practice this yourself, there's a link right there. There's also a link in the description, and that's what you can do. I hope this has been really helpful. If it has, let me know in the comments. And if you have any video requests, well, why don't you just put them down there too? All right? Okay.